it's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on X, Threads, and Instagram. And I believe we are live and in living color streaming from our Instagram today. Yay, Instagram followers. Oh my God, this lighting looks great. All right. Also, make sure if you're watching us live on wherever else, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can find all of our lovely things, such as previous episodes and, of course, the latest. We just posted all of our Day of Days interviews and behind the scenes and fun things that we did with fans while there. So make sure you go check that out. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so that way you'll never miss when we're going live or when we upload new videos. And for those of you who are members of our Dishin Days YouTube members only channel, we've posted some videos there and some more are to come within the next 24 hours. So if you haven't joined already, make sure you join now so that way you don't miss some more lovely content from your fine folks here at Dishin Days. Also, if you need to take us along with you while you're in the car, pumping iron in the gym, or maybe you are just sitting at home with a bottle of wine, wondering what happened on Peacock's Days of Our Lives, well, tune in to your... Oh, that was you last night?
That was me last night. And Friday night, actually.
Well, make sure you find us on your favorite podcast station. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just find Dishin Days and follow along. That way you'll never miss all the stunt shows and shenanigans that happened in Salem this week. And of course, make sure you show some love to our favorite former co-host and my chocolate twin, Mr. James Bartholomew Lott Jr., who is serving up a few dishes of his own. If you are a lover of soap operas, make sure you check out his recap of Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. And also some original audio dramas that he has created, produced, and written himself. Because James Lott Jr. is the only person that I know who is old enough to remember when the rainbow was discovered.
I love rainbows.
Yeah, rainbows are beautiful. So make sure you show some love, JLJ Media on YouTube and wherever podcasts can be found. And also want to give a big shout out to Sherry Jimenez's mom, Sandra, who during Day of Days gave us these shirts.
Yes. You can see.
Ta-da!
Yes.
Thank you, Sandra. It was such a pleasure to meet you. Like Sandra is straight up New York, okay? Yep. So she doesn't mess around. So shout out to Sarah. And of course, we'll be talking about Day of Days later on in the show. But before we get started, what do we think of this week's episodes of Days?
Really good.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad about it.
And by the time we got to Friday, it was like a warm hug.
Yeah.
I know Friday is, I almost texted you guys. I was like, wow, Friday's the tone of the week. The tone of Friday's episode really took a shift, which I wasn't mad about.
Mm-hmm.
However, by the end of the episode, I was like, okay, that's enough. We can go back to it.
Not you. That's enough. Oh, what you want more body and soul? You missed in body and soul.
No. Did I say body and soul? No, but
you weren't missing body and soul?
No.
Oh.
I'm just remembering a screenshot someone posted of a Day of Days interview with Deidre and Susan. Oh, it was Michael Fairman when he asked about body and soul. The way they looked at each other, they were just like, they're like, you want to Like, you're gonna say it. You're gonna like, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we're telling stories about real people now. I was like, damn, okay.
Wow.
See, all is revealed at Day of Days. You just have to pay attention.
Wait, I thought we were live on our Instagram. I don't think we are.
I'm seeing the Instagram check mark thing.
Yeah, same
in the corner.
Me too. But I'm like checking Instagram, and I'm like, the little live button isn't popping up.
I did not get a notification that Dishin Days was live.
Right. Well, we tried. We tried just
next week.
Right. There's always next week. Haha. Okay, now we're live on Instagram.
Okay.
So people might have missed that whole beginning, but now maybe
watch it on YouTube later.
Right. see the full video on YouTube. Okay, there we go. We're on live. You know why we weren't live on Instagram? Because I did not click the go live button on Instagram. There's too many buttons.
Yeah.
Too many buttons. So this week, I thought this week was fine. That was good.
This week, good.
We'll we always say that, and then there's gonna be some kind of weird thing that ends up taking up all of our time. Watch what happens.
Well, then we shall see. Let's dive into it now, shall we? It is now time to start
Dishin Days.
That's about as close as we are ever gonna get to it. All right.
I zoned out and almost was just like, and then I heard Tony start. I'm like, oh, Dishin Days.
All right, let's start off with our first storyline, which is Tate to the rescue. Well.
The way this whole so the way things happened with Vivian this week was just was very interesting and a little a little disjointed, I think, for me. I liked the prospect of what was going to happen, and then before I knew it, she was arrested, and now she hit her head, she was unconscious, now she's in the hospital, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, so what's gonna happen with the whole film? I thought they were starting like maybe a longer term thing, like a Philip, like Kate versus Vivian with like there was potential for like a longer term thing, and now I have no idea where the hell it's gonna go. Because
we thought when Vivian was like, "Get in on this, Kate."
Yeah.
And Kate shook her hand. My first thought was, "Ooh, that Kate is back." And then I was like, "Ooh, what about Roman?" And then when she went to the pub and met Philip, and she was like, "Oh, don't worry, I took care of it." I said, I said, not the double cross.
Yeah.
When she went to the station and was like, "I need to report a crime." I was like, "Yep, there we go."
Yep.
Kate was like, "I'm not about to be part of this foolishness."
It did feel like we got the best of both Kates. Of Kate Roberts and Mrs. Roman Brady.
Yeah. I think this is the way to do it. I think we've always talked about the past couple of years about like Kate losing her edge a bit and like, oh, we want the old Kate back. Is she going to do something kind of mischievous or give us some of that old Kate? But I think this is a nice way of doing it, of blending the two. Like she got rid of Vivian, who we know she can't stand in a very legal way, but also she's also not turning Philip in completely. So that's her little.
She's on Philip's side of taking control. Like she's like, you're Philip's son. You should be in control of the company.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I don't think that Roman would necessarily disagree with her course of action because technically she did the right thing in turning Vivian in.
Yeah, I don't think he would care so much about this letter, whether or not it's fake or not. I don't. Yeah, he's also the one who helped keep Philip a secret in.
Yeah, so
I mean, he's willing to help out when he can if he thinks the motives are right.
The intent, the intent is genuine and not malicious. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Can I just say, I love Louis Sorel and John Paul Lavoisier's chemistry with each other. I feel like her as Vivian and him as Philip have this weird, quirky match of energy between each other that I think works.
It does.
And I was, for the first time this week, I was like, oh, like I kind of like that he's, the way that John Paul plays Philip is not this very like serious, like, you know, type of person, but he has these little like quirkiness about him. Like even when Xander was like, I guess I have to kill him. And then he like jumped into the Kiriakis mansion. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to enjoy this very much. But back to what Michael was saying about it being set up for a long time thing. Yeah, I think those dreams are crushed. I think it's
I mean, okay, if what's his ass, Clyde Weston can escape for like the bazillionth time, I totally believe that Vivian can escape that hospital bed.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, he didn't escape. He got his charges dropped.
No, he did. He escaped.
He escaped.
Oh, I thought someone this week said that
no, because when who was it? Chad was being told.
Yes.
Yeah, Chad was being told by Steve,
right,
that Clyde was out of jail, and he was like, "What? He got the charges dropped?" And he was like, "No."
Well, he was transferred to Statesville because his lawyer was going for that. So that was the idea of him being closer to Salem.
And he escaped en route.
En route, yeah. That's what I think.
I mean, well.
But if anyone, if Clyde can do it, Vivian can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, jail girl, and go back to Yvonne, who's doing his own thing at the mansion.
No, Yvonne is following orders. He's following Madame's orders.
Yeah, doing his thing at the mansion. Not doing his own thing, but doing his thing. Yeah.
No, I think you bring up a good point, Tony. I think the Philip Vivian one has always been a little strange with other actors in the past. Like we know that like she carried him as a surrogate, but she always plays up this whole like I'm your mother thing, and it never really fits with the other actors. But I think with JP that they're both too Vivian's always been a quirky character, and I think JP's version of Philip is quirky, so they fit together in a way they never have in the past, and where you can see him team up with Vivian, and it's not a betrayal of Kate or a betrayal of Victor. And I think in the past that's always been a weird one of like, okay, why is he with Vivian? Like, it wouldn't make sense for someone who's such a mama's boy like Philip in regard to Kate. It makes sense in this context of it. Yeah.
Oh man, I was gonna say something and then I totally forgot. Oh well, it has escaped me. But this isn't. I mean, this whole Titan serum thing, him blocking it, like Vivian going around forging everything. I'm like, I'm just like, what are we? What are we?
Did you just see her sleeping at a desk? Like, she's like, fuck, no, try again. Because like she wrote that letter from Stefan. The divorce papers, everything is forged. The letter from Victor,
which I'm like, how can you do it that easily? Like,
has Vivian been? I maybe I'm forgetting. I don't remember forgery being in Vivian's
wheelhouse.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, if she can bury Maggie alive and all the other deceptive things she's done, I'm sure forgery is how she started. You know, you thought things are get started when someone steals something. It's no. Have you done your first forgery? That's the gateway.
The gateway crime.
That's the gateway crime right there. That's it.
You're like, I just forged a letter. I can do anything.
Right. Oops. For some reason, I thought Brady knew that.
Okay,
Kristen was trying to get Titan from the like. It was. I was surprised that
I lost track of that side of it. Like what Brady, excuse me, what Brady knew, because Sarah knows the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody but Brady knew.
Yeah, everyone but Brady knows.
Okay, that's what and then, yeah, because when he came in to the Kiriakis mansion on Friday, I was kind of like, oh, what? I can't remember what he knows and doesn't know. But then it was made clear that he didn't know that Kristen took it back or whatever.
Oh no, of course he didn't know, because he used the word generous.
Yeah, he was under the impression she was doing it to right or wrong or to be nice. Like, he didn't know that it came with the condition.
But then it's like, so I think I need a chart with this one now, because Dr. Rolf has the serum. Kristen is kind of the gateway to the serum.
Yeah.
Kristen wanted Titan. Xander was going to sign it over. Philip and Vivian came back and stomped on it.
With a fake letter. Don't forget that fake letter.
So it's actually, the serum is being blocked from getting to Sarah on two fronts. One, because Kristen can't get Titan, but the reason she can't get Titan is because Philip came back
with the forged letter.
With a forged letter, and Philip doesn't give a shit.
No, Philip does. Like there was a moment
I was missing. Like, what does Philip give him? Like,
there was a moment where he and Vivian were talking in the Salem Inn, and he was just like, but like, this is for Sarah who can't walk. Like he feels bad about what they're doing, especially knowing that the letter is not a real letter.
But at the same time, he's right in that that the idea of giving a whole company for a serum that, by the way, it has zero guarantee of working.
There's that
is crazy. Too. He's not entirely wrong.
Yeah, I'm totally on Philip's side with this.
Yeah,
I mean, outside of
and not to mention, all of this would be moot point if Kristen would just give Sarah the serum, no strings attached.
Right, which I'm hoping that Brady is the one that can kind of convince her to do that.
Yeah,
because I don't know, it just never made sense to me. I have a serum that can help your wife walk, but I want Titan. Like, since when have you wanted Titan?
She wants to show the people at Demira that her dick's bigger than everybody else's.
Well, then go swing it at Demira.
Ow.
No, like that doesn't make sense.
Kristen's whole motivation is that she wants to be seen as the formidable Demira in Demira Enterprises, and what better way to do that than to take over the competition?
Yeah,
especially like the competition being Kiriakis, since they've always been kind of competitors.
Well, those are the only two enterprises in town. Demira Enterprises and Titan.
They would have had a third if they let Price Town be built.
This is purely about Kristen keeping her seat in power, which is impossible for her to do in a very male-dominated board led by Mr. Shin. So she is.
That ain't got nothing to do with Titan.
No, it has not. No, it has nothing to. No, they have nothing to do with that. That was all her brilliant idea. Well, if I do something that my brothers never would have been able to pull off, then I can. Then I'll get the respect. And I'm like, girl, just stop.
What is not it?
That's Titan on Meliswin. His name on Meliswin is not it. Nate it, not it.
Megan, are you sure you haven't been dipping into the sauce?
Probably. I think I'm at a point where I'm just like, do one or two things with Sarah. Push her back down the stairs so that she can like walk again,
but she had a
twinge. Or give her the serum.
Okay, someone mentioned this in the chat room. She had like a twinge in her leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm like, does that mean like something
that she did? It wasn't that wasn't her leg. That was people who have spinal cord injuries have muscle spasms that radiate. That has nothing to do with being able to feel or walk. That has to do with spasms, and it's painful.
Well, they better use a pair of jumper cables and get them to spasm the other muscles so that she can stand up.
I was just like, okay, if she has a feeling at all in her leg, like whether it's a muscle spasm or anything.
Did she say specifically that it was her leg? Because it looked like she was radiating pain for her back.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah, unless she
I assumed it was the leg, but
if she said
she
no, I believe she said it was a muscle spasm, which is
that was like that's true. If I feel like if she said, "Oh, I have a feeling in my leg," it would have just been like, "Oh, well, okay." There would have been some like, "Oh my gosh,"
would
have been some a better reaction.
Nerve pain, muscle pain, completely 100% accurate to people who have those kinds of injuries.
So let me ask you guys. I'm fully on Philip's side here for many reasons. First of all, I don't think giving away a $1 billion company so your family member could walk is worth it in a sense. Mm-hmm. I also am kind of like, I don't know about you guys, but I thought the letter was real until they flat out said it was a forged. Because I was like, to me, it struck me as something Victor would write to say, I'm going to give Titan to Philip, but since you're in this incapacitated state, you're not mentally there. I'm going to leave it to Xander. I mean, he's, as much as Victor's likes to pin his kids against each other, he always chose Philip. Philip was always number one when it came to Titan, and especially even last time he kicked Xander out, even when Xander was doing a good job as CEO, because Philip came back and said, I want the title. I want to be CEO. Yeah. So Victor said, bye, Xander. So I part of me is like, oh, is this like gives them a weird out because the note is fake? I was like, it completely could have been real and is completely plausible that Victor would have wrote a letter like that.
It's plausible, and and you're right. He's always favored Philip, so it is plausible that he would write that note. I just got annoyed that I'm like, here we are, another secret letter from Victor. When first we had the will, and then I'm like, we're just repeating this shit over and over again. Like they're just gonna keep finding. Oh, there was another letter from Victor. It says this.
No, I mean, at least they let us know this time that it was fake, and I would argue that it would not only be plausible but probable that had Victor not passed when he did, in 6 months to a year's time, he would have just flat out said what was exactly in that forged letter. I guarantee, because he flip-flopped so often with the men in his family.
I'd flip-flop with those men too.
Of course you do, you nasty.
Most of them.
Moving on. And then, oh my gosh, I got so. Whenever there's a tussle with a gun, it always makes me nervous. And I thought, huh?
Especially when you don't see it, you just hear,
right?
Oh my God, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just glad that it was just a tussle. She fell and hit her head. Because actually, when they came in, I was like, oh, Lord, they done shot Vivian. But no, she just hit her head. Well, thankfully, she didn't die from hitting her head because poor Laura Horton.
I was like, wait, this is the same thing.
Oh, no.
In the same room, right?
Yeah.
Same room.
Oh, my God. Okay,
this must be a snag in the carpet or something in that room.
In the carpet. Okay, this redeemed it for me because honestly, when Rafe was on the phone and we got the exposition, I was like, oh, come on now. Like, 85-year-old Vivian is taking down Jada. Like, she's gonna like surprise her with like a karate chop, to the neck or something. Like,
well, she said surprisingly, she's a strong woman.
I know. So then when it finally came back and Vivian was on the go, I was like, okay, thank you. Like, we don't have to take things that far. Like,
well, and especially since the reason she was able to catch Vivian is because Vivian was passed out on the bed because she suddenly got tired when she was talking to Philip out of nowhere.
I also
would have been like, I know I'm not the greatest when I first wake up, especially from a nap.
I also will like to say, the fact that now we love Commissioner Jada Hunter. But girl, put that phone up. If the phone rings in the midst of you doing something, do not answer. This is not the second time they've written this like this. Because remember, the first time she almost discovered Melinda Trask at Connie's apartment. Yeah. And then she got the call that Rafe woke up and she went, and I'm like, but wait, you're in the middle of like checking things out. Like, why would you, where did you go? You know, like where are we going? And then now she's in the midst of taking Vivian to the station and ring, and she's like, oh, and then finish the task, then answer the phone.
Get her in the car, and then look at your phone and be like, oh, I need to call Rafe back. Yeah. They still got her though. Like all of that.
Yeah, I know. For nothing.
Get her, you know?
Yeah.
That's another thing that was confusing. I was like, okay, what was the point of that whole tussle getting her to the hospital? Why is she in custody at the hospital now versus just in jail?
That had nothing to do with Vivian. That had everything to do with Jada and Rafe.
Yep.
And what happened next.
Well, maybe we'll see. I mean, who knows?
100%.
But that scene also could have happened at the police station too.
Yeah. Like it didn't have to be like there was a gun tussle, then you'd show it like there was this whole dramatic event that happened, and I'm like, what was that all? Maybe we'll find out that it was.
I think it might be a Vivian thing. We'll see if Yvonne gets her out, or maybe it's easier for her to escape from the hospital than the police station, kind of a thing.
I think it was, sure, it can be that too, but I think mainly it was so that Rafe could realize how precious life is, and for him to, you know, grow some balls and lock it down, which is what he did. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But I think that was the reason for that.
Okay, I see. Okay, I see what you mean.
Because they can listen.
It was for Rafe to realize what Jada meant to him and how he would be lost if she, you know.
I can't leave.
Well, he was already going to do it, and not like he thought.
But that pushed him to do it like right then.
Yes.
Yeah, I have an issue. I have another issue later that we'll talk about.
Well, make sure you write it down and don't forget it. But that's pretty much it with that storyline, right?
Yeah.
Like you got Kate trying to save Philip and get him out of whatever mess Vivian is about to put him in. Kristen is about to got because I don't think Brady is gonna like the fact that she's using the serum to try to get Titan, so that might soften her. And then now we're on to this. Let's talk about the Hernandez family.
Back to this.
We got a little bit of love and a little bit of loss. Okay, now before we get started, now that we have fully seen and know a little bit more of the newest family member of the Hernandez family, Javi, played by Al Calderon. What do you guys think of Javi?
Oh, a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Javi is the kind of gay man I would accept as a friend of a friend, but I wouldn't be able to be around probably a lot.
That's because you're not in your 20s anymore, Michael Mattis.
Well, and that's a big factor. He is young, he is proud, and nothing against that, but it's the energy factor for me.
No, yeah. No,
I would just be like,
it's a very much out and proud in your 20s, early 30s mood.
For instance, when I'm walking Bimby and a young puppy wants to come up and play with Bimby, he will be tolerant for a good 10, 15 seconds before he finally goes, Rah!
Oh, that would gets that from his daddy.
Exactly.
Let's be clear. This is not. I think this is very much not exclusive to the gay community. I think once you pass a certain point in your 30s, you become very jaded, and your energy level is like, I can't deal with you anymore. But I love the energy for Javi, for who he is and where he is in his life, especially as he's going to be bringing it to his family.
I don't think his energy is too much. I thought the scene with him in the little crop top dancing to Bad Bunny was cute. I I of course live because way back in the day when it was Will and Sonny, Chandler and Freddie, we tried to teach them gay lingo. So the fact that Javi sat down with Gabby and was like, well, what's the tea? I was like, yes, what? Javi? What is the tea? I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because I love when you know they get the girls to speak the language.
Yeah, I like him too. I like his energy, like Araceli said, in this context for the Hernandez family. I think is really nice. I think it's a nice pairing with Gabby and a nice not necessarily contrast, but different than Rafe's energy. I like that. I like him cemented in the house with them and not like in the Salem Inn where everyone apparently lives and stays. But yeah, I'm interested in what they're gonna do with his character. I know we got a little bit, a little preview here and there with some stuff, but I'm interested in where he fits overall.
I liked the flirty stuff with Leo.
Yeah,
you know, me and Leo have a, you know, but I liked their dynamic together.
It was different.
It was different, yeah.
It was different. I didn't know what I would think about it when it aired, but from the get, it was just like, oh.
However, but what do we think about it?
If those were two real gay men, they would have been out of there like, I'm sorry. Like there was tension there that I was like, they're both at full salute right now. They need to get out of there. Like seriously, the way they were looking at each other, I was like, oh, and the way they were talking and just their chemistry.
It was great.
Yeah. But there was a moment where I thought, I feel like this is just like I don't know if this is like a relationship or just like a hookup. Like you know, this will be a good friend with benefits kind of a thing.
Like a buddy situation.
Yeah.
I could see it being a relationship, but I could also see that Javi is probably a character who's like, and I think Leo for different reasons, probably both there in their lives of like, right now I would just like to meet a nice guy. That's it.
Megan, they're right there. Who lets a stranger sip his drink? I thought the same thing because let me tell you, some of my friends when they're like, oh, let me try it, I'm like, okay. First of all, like I have to figure out which friend I'm dealing with. Because some of your friends are hoes, and it's like, you know what? I don't want your mouth anywhere, but not even like, you can't even get your own straw. Like, and there are some people where like I'm okay, but like I already drank out of the straw, so then like how he did it, he stepped out of the glass. Like you like, but if it's a stranger, if it's a stranger, I'm doing this. I'm doing you know how you get the straw and you put it in the drink and then you hold the top of it and then pull it out and open.
Yeah, and then
that's how it tastes. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it wasn't about him being a hoe. I'm still in COVID mode where I'm like, no, we don't do that. Because you could catch something else.
No, even think.
I guess it's along the same lines though.
Yeah.
I thought it was flirty.
Yeah, I mean it was flirty and it was cute.
Yeah.
And I like that Lil Javi was a little more, dominating than Leo with like, getting the phone number and texting being like cheers and the little wink that he did. I was like,
I love that.
When they were trying to make a small bar into a club. Yeah. I was like, there's no room to be dancing on that set. I'm sure everything is like this far apart. And you could tell they were like.
And I also like that he didn't get scared off immediately, even when Gabby was trying to warn him. It was like, oh, okay, we'll see.
It almost made him more like,
yeah.
He's like, I like a bad boy, or I like a something. He said something.
Yeah. And then Leo was like, I like whatever type of boy you are. And I was like, not able to get a read on him.
Leo has a hotel room. He lives in a hotel room. They'd be out of there. There would be no staying to celebrate your sister. It would be, I got to go for 20, 30, maybe an hour. Then I'll be back.
Well, see, no, you don't say that. You go, ooh, my stomach. Don't feel so good.
Or you say, I want to explore Salem in the town square. I'm going to go for a walk.
I want to explore Salem. What, the 2 steps it takes to walk around Salem?
Well, you don't know that, yeah.
Anyways, welcome, Javi.
With Javi, I'm curious to see if he is more like if he's more a good intentioned person or an ill intentioned person, and if we're gonna end up with Dario 2.0.
Oh no, I don't get that vibe. No, I don't get that vibe from him.
If he's of the side of the family that's like Rafe or more Gabby, like more Rafe where you're like the do-gooder, or you're like Gabby who's kind of both, or if you're Dario, I guess was kind of both. Like he just got mixed up in but
Dario was a mess.
I'm curious to see what they do with Javi, because I think there's potential for a
Javi
nice character.
Javi seems very singular in a kind of character that just wants to live his life, doesn't hold any grudges. Because that scene where he could have held a grudge with his mama for giving the ring to Rafe, but you like in the next breath he was like, I'm just messing with you, go ahead. And I think she you deserve it. She'll be great, and I'll be good.
Yeah, I think Javi is a good character, although I do feel like he was kind of hurt at the fact that Rafe got the engagement ring and he didn't. Yeah. And I feel
I think he just played it off like he wasn't. But
right. But I feel like the fact that, he is, which I'm assuming they're going to have him identify as gay. Maybe that might have been a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
In the family.
No, wasn't one of his first lines?
Yeah, I'm here, I'm queer.
Yeah.
That was literally
you
his
have to be
first
PC
line.
Nowadays.
I guess queer can be
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily gay.
He literally looked Leo up and down within 5 seconds and was like, hello.
That don't mean nothing.
Really?
You know how many men have looked at me up and down and have not identified as gay?
It could be another Evan Christian who,
he identified as bi.
Yeah.
And then he went by.
I was going to say because he went bye. So he crazy.
He went bye. Speaking of more of the Hernandez family, they are gaining another one because Rafe and Jada are now engaged.
Yeah. That was surprisingly sweet.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
This was a couple, and my God, we have suffered. I'm sorry, Rafe has suffered. No, we have suffered right along with Rafe, having to watch Rafe's love life all these years. With 3 failed marriages.
Some of it was his own doing, though.
Oh yeah.
No. I'm not placing blame on any one person in the situation. I'm just saying it's been a long journey. We have an audience that suffered the most.
When I see Rafe getting into another relationship that has promise, I think it's gonna fuck it up. I'm like, it's gonna be a matter of time. They write him so consistently in relationships, to f up.
I don't think,
so maybe this will be the turning point. Maybe now that we have a new regime, and then we'll start seeing their stuff. Wait, it's still April.
I don't think it's him. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think that he needed to be with someone who was just 100% about him, because Nicole was still hooked up on Eric when they got married.
See how that happened.
Yes. Hope. Yes, technically Bo was dead at the time, but it's difficult to be the follow-up guy to someone who everybody says has already had the love of their life. So that was doomed from the start.
No, she messed that up because they were broken up, and then he hooked up with Sammy, and then she was all mad at him, and it's I'm not talking about
individual actions though. That's the thing. Is I'm not necessarily talking about individual actions, because I think there was blame on both sides of that relationship that ended up to the demise. But I look at it as a whole as it was doomed from the start, because Hope was, because he was not Bo. He was not Bo Brady. He was not the love of her life. So I look at it as a whole of it was doomed from the start. Same.
Well, also Hope shouldn't have been with
Nicole and Eric.
Hope shouldn't have been with Rafe. It should have been Aiden, but we all saw what they did with that character.
Yeah, that was
there was just sidebar. There was one of the Twitter accounts that does like, it's either those were the days or like days flashback or whatever, and it was like 10 years ago or 9 years ago, Bo saved Hope from Aiden, and I just shook my head. I was like,
yeah, we're still bitter.
Yeah,
we're still bitter about that. Yep. And then way back when he was introduced as a love interest for Sammy, it's Sammy Brady. I don't think I need to say more than that. So this pairing, and especially this proposal, was so sweet to me because it really felt like they're both grown-ups. They're both in the same place in their life. Neither one of them is hooked on anyone else. For each of them in this moment, this is it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for Rafe, I think it's been a good pairing for him. And usually I find that they inconsistently write him with regard to women. I think for the most part, he likes bad women, but he doesn't admit it. I think whenever he's had a relationship with a quote unquote someone good, he always finds a way to screw it up, or he picks a bad woman over the good one, so to speak. So I think this is the first time in a while that they've let him have sort of let him be in a normal, fulfilling relationship with a quote unquote good person who he's not in conflict with. And yeah, I thought it was moving to, and it made sense. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing. I mean, I figured like something is around the corner for these two. I mean, they've been going pretty steady, uncomplicated for a while now, so I feel like something is around the corner for them.
Just around the river bend.
Ooh, I kind of have to agree with Dylan Matthews on this one.
What?
He picks bad women to save them. Kind of.
Yeah, that's kind of been the pattern. And Jada is very much a woman who stands on her own, who doesn't need to be saved. And she's the one that sometimes does the saving.
Yeah.
Jada stands on her own 2 designer shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boots.
Were made for arresting. And that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna arrest you. I don't know why I'm always in the singing mode when I'm doing the show. And then Gabby. Excuse me. Thinking that Stefan has like divorced her and pieced out because of EJ.
Yep.
I feel she was distracted. Otherwise, she would have put 2 and 2 together. I feel like when she made that statement, I don't know if it was to Javi or someone else about, Vivian just arrived and Stefan missed her or something. I was like, Gabby, like, I feel like she was distracted by the whole divorce thing and reeling off of that. Otherwise, she would have probably I don't know. I felt like she would have been a little bit more in tune to what was going on.
She was almost there.
Yeah.
She was almost there. We all felt it because she was like, wait, Vivian's in town? And then it was like, wait, Stefan's gone?
Yeah. It was like,
yeah.
And then
if Stefan is gone and Vivian just arrived in town, then it must mean that Vivian done got Stefan and kidnapped him and took him to Alamania.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't quite finish the equation.
Yeah.
But she was almost there though.
She's still devastated. She's got tunnel vision.
Yeah. But she also can't be mad. I mean, she did want to have revenge sex with EJ, so she can't be mad at EJ.
That was both of that. That was not that she can't blame EJ for that.
No, she's
just her lashing out.
Yeah. She doesn't really blame him. Well, maybe a little bit.
She's gonna not assign blame to herself. She's gonna put blame on the other party. That's Gabby. Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we have checked off the Hernandez family, and welcome Javi, let's move on to happy anniversaries. First off,
really disappointed that this baseball game didn't result in some shirtless men's. I don't care that it's November. You're out playing baseball, you're running, you're swinging bats, you're throwing balls, you're going to break a sweat. You're going to want to take that shirt off. Not me.
All
Not
shirts.
me. Well, me playing. I wouldn't be playing baseball in the first place. I would be
on the bench setting up the charcuterie board.
Good throw. Good hit.
Bit confused about the family base. Like the way they were talking made it seem like everyone in the family was playing. And then it was just them. And I was like, oh, this was the family baseball game. And it also unexpectedly. So I was like, so it was just going to be Johnny and Brady. Maybe Tate was going to stop by for the family baseball. Like, I thought it was going to be everyone. And, like, that was going to be the surprise. Like, he knew everyone was coming into town and that, you know.
Okay, look, let's just assume they were playing catch.
No, because there was a whole setup. If there wasn't a whole setup,
gosh,
then we would have bought it.
And then it was the four of them. And it was like, y'all played baseball, the four of you? Just on two
against. Okay, whatever.
They were playing pitcher/catcher.
Okay, whatever. I don't need them to be good at baseball because my baseball people won this season, so I'm fine. And at least on Friday, I got to see all my favorite people. It was like every time you turned around, every time the door opened, it was like another one of my favorite people just walked in the door.
Well, speaking of that apartment, like who wrote in Kristen sitting there for the
whole thing? Like, at
one point she was just like, "Hello, like this is cute, but where's Brady?"
Like,
I'm like, "Who?"
Did Stacey's other scenes that day get canceled?
No, they just
already there, so they were like, "Just come in."
They said we paid her. Let's put her.
Just come in and sit, and then we'll have everyone else come in.
There was a point to her being there, I guess. But it was odd because, like, I guess maybe because, like, her only other scene in that episode was at the end when Brady came into the DeMira mansion.
Right.
I kind of felt like she could have left after her and Marlena, like she was antagonized or like kind of playing with Marlena. Like I thought, like, okay, that's kind of cute. Not cute, but whatever. And then she kind of just stayed there, and I was like, wait, why is she just hanging out for all?
Why is she just there while like everyone is like coming in and having these like wonderful moments like ding dong, it's Belle. Oh my God, I'm back. Ding dong, it's Andrew with some news about John, which, you know, I think we all know what's being set up. Mm-hmm. And then ding dong, oh Paul, oh, I didn't know. Which I'm like, y'all a couple. Like y'all didn't tell each other like, hey, I gotta go tell your mom about, or I'll be right back. Like y'all didn't have no phone call and both ended up in Salem and both being surprised that like Surprise. Okay, speaking of surprises, I would like to hear y'all's thoughts on Paul and Andrew's proposal.
Loved it. Oh my gosh. Are you guys going to complain? Seriously?
No, honestly, okay, I'll just say I didn't have any problem with it.
It was fine. I could have used a little bit more like romance and affection a bit. Honestly, I think I could have used a little bit more of that.
So
for the gay couple,
I took it as the reason there wasn't any of that because he did it on the spur of them. He was planning something for when they get back to wherever the hell they live.
He said that.
He said that a couple of times, and then I think it was just he did it at the spur of the moment because he said he had the ring in the bag, and then all of the family was there.
Yes.
So it was just like a gut, or not a gut, but like an instinctual thing. It's like, oh, now's the time to do this, but it lacked, you know, romance and all that.
Well, here's I'm happy. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I love that Paul and Andrew are together. Here's my issue is that they aren't on the canvas enough for us to be excited about them getting married. Like we haven't seen. When was the last time you saw Paul and Andrew? What have you seen about their relationship that makes you kind of go, oh, that's great. We all love the couple. But what I'm saying is the same way you felt about Rafe and Jada, how we've seen them progress. We haven't been able to go through the ups and downs.
I'm not nearly as excited about Rafe and Jada as I am
about
Paul
what I was saying was that we haven't been able to see the ups and downs of Paul and Andrew because they come into Salem and then they go back out. And then they come into Salem and then they come back out. So then to have this proposal is this kind of like, yeah, we're excited about it, but at the same time, we
like,
haven't had. It's almost like for me, I like if they had both shown up and then just made the announcement that they're engaged, I think I probably would have been fine with that than the proposal, because then it's like they've been living their life off camera. We haven't even seen anything.
I feel like they've made enough of it, even in the little that they have been on screen. I feel like for some reason they have made an impact with the viewers that the show knew that viewers would want to see the proposal. That's like that's like a testament to, I don't know if it's Christopher and Colton, the way they play it, or just those two, but like they have a big.
Yes, that's exactly it. Look, I'm sorry. Look, I am kind to all relationships that I think are healthy on the show, but chemistry is unmatched. And
well,
Paul
no one
and
say
Andrew
anything about chemistry or anything like that. The bottom line is,
I'm
is
invested,
like
and you're stealing my joy.
The gays are not. You can take your joy. I'm not stealing it, but the gays are not on there enough to where, like, it. Like when Will and Sonny got together, we saw all of that, so we felt that. Same with Paul and Will. But the thing is that like with this, I would have loved to see Paul and Andrew on the show more than they have, so that this proposal would make an even bigger impact than what it did.
And that's where life gets in the way, and you have to just settle for what you get. And if I
don't have to settle for anything.
I'm happy. No one is going to steal.
You be happy. No one's telling you to be upset. I'm just telling you how I feel about it.
Enjoy and embrace.
Girl, you can bask in the joy. You can bask in all the rainbows and unicorns you want to. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying that I would love to. Who's being a Debbie Downer about it? No one's being a Debbie Downer.
It's a different point of view. He's saying that for him, they're not on screen enough for him to be invested in seeing the proposal. There are others who it did make it. The little they have been on did make an impact, and they liked seeing the proposal. It's there's no wrong here. It's just
they literally could have walked in and said, "I'm engaged." I would have had the same amount of happiness without seeing the proposal.
I would not have. If they had done that, I would have been pissed.
See, me, I
would have written a strongly worded letter.
I like the proposal. I do think you have a point, though, Tony. But I do think they could have combat that a little bit by having the proposal be a little bit more. And what I say by that, in terms of like the romance and stuff, is like turning it up just a couple notches. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they don't have romance or they're not a believable couple. I love them, but I think the engagement could have been turned up just a little bit. It could have been more. I like the fact that the family was there. That was great, but maybe the writing could have been a little bit more romantic. Maybe the embraces could have been more loving. Maybe that's what I'm looking for a bit.
Each engagement is singular to each couple. Not everything has to be beautiful candlelit moonlight and flowers. Some people want that experience. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I want that experience. I probably wouldn't want that experience, but it made sense for them.
But didn't we see that same proposal with Rafe and Jada?
Yeah. No, that was in a hospital full of strangers. That was completely different.
It was spare the moment.
In a hospital full of strangers, that's completely different. I don't think that Paul would have gotten down on bended knee with the same amount of emotion in the same way with a room full of strangers. So he was overcome by the moment because his family was there.
I don't know why you feel like yelling. Put some more exclamation point on your point.
You are so lucky I'm not drinking today. I'm just saying.
Let the record show that whether you were drinking or not, if this petty button is pressed, You better be glad that you're not drinking and the petty button has not been, because I could choose violets. But I choose rainbows and unicorns. So to go in with what Justin said is, I think with because Paul and Andrew are not on as often, that if they had done the more romantic version of the proposal, I think it would have been, an even more beautiful testament to their relationship and maybe what we don't see on screen. The fact that they walk into Marlene and John's apartment, and they see each other and don't even know that they are both in town. And then the moment hits Paul to get on bended knee, it's kind of like, yay, but it's also like, but it's because we don't see them that often, is what we're saying. We don't know what their life is like outside of when they pop into Salem and when they don't. The last time we saw them was for the wedding with Xander and Sarah and Alex and Teresa. And that was a mess. And even still, we still know that they're together, but we don't have those moments where we can just see them in the romantic
part of our
way.
Control.
But what I'm saying is the writing, like what I mean by romantic, I'm saying like the writing could have been, hey, I know our relationship has been long distance until you moved to San Francisco. And then like something like that is what I'm looking for to make it, maybe not romantic is the word, maybe more personalized, I guess, because we just had a backstory from a couple that we see all the time, and we see that like, for example, Rafe and Jada, I didn't need it to be that romantic. We've seen them as a couple. We've seen them on dates. We've seen them interact with each other. They work with each other. But I think for them, it could have just been turned up a notch. I didn't need like Andrew to come in to a candlelight dinner from Paul. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the writing, just the way it was done. And then the reaction from it, not from other people, but their reaction, I felt could have been turned up a couple of notches, and it would have been more impactful for me. It's still fine. I liked it. I liked them as a couple, but again, it could have been a little bit more of the writing of what their relationship's been like the past year, how they've gotten closer. Like that could have, I just think, amped it up a bit.
The gay men are trying to teach the straight woman how the gays should be in Salem.
I will.
You listen. You don't have to.
No. I will agree. I will agree on that point. I will agree on that point. You all have your perspectives that you wanted the romance to turn up a notch. Mm-hmm. I am very happy with the little joy that I am being given.
We're happy too. Let the record show that we're happy and ecstatic for Paul and Andrew too. However, it was understandable with Rafe and Jada for that spare the moment thing, but then to like almost copy and paste that kind of same moment when we haven't seen their relationship, it's kind of like I would have liked a different proposal for this couple that we rarely get to see, so that it feels like, like for instance, the moment when they were talking about their relationship and Paul referred back to the pride party with John and how he was so happy for their relationship, and that was the turning point and everything like that, which by the way DJ Terrence was at. So it's like
that should have been in the proposal. That part, right? That dialogue should have been part of the proposal.
Yeah. So it's like we know that was the turning point of their relationship, but then we also know that like they had to go on this whole like journey after that. But like what are those moments like in between when they're not, in Salem? What is life like in San Francisco for them? Like, with the proposal, I think if we had a better sense of that, it would have been the piece de resistance of it. But we're very happy that they're together, and I'm looking forward to how the wedding is going to turn out.
Yeah. Now, my joy will be stolen if I don't get to see this wedding. Okay, all right. I'm speaking to you, Days writers. Don't mess this up, okay? Because poor Paul already had his heart broken at one wedding. I don't want to repeat. Don't steal my joy.
Right. All right. So that was we're happy to see Andrew and Paul back. And happy that they're engaged too, and happy that they were able to do it in front of family. But
Yeah.
obviously for the past 10 minutes we have had opinions about that. We said before we got on the show, this week has been good, but there's always going to be something that we're going to harp in on. And who knew it was going to be the engagement of
Never
Paul
know.
and Andrew?
It's never what you think it's going to be.
We still have another anniversary to get through with this storyline too.
Oh, Maggie and Victor.
Oh. That was surprisingly touching as well. How many people dropped in to wish Maggie a happy anniversary, even though Victor is gone.
What I enjoyed about that part of this episode was the generations of women schooling young Holly about like she's like, I guess it's over for me and Tate, and they're like, girl, don't give up. Never say what was it? Never say never. And I just liked how they would, I don't know. There was something about it. Just Julie, detailing how she and Doug got together, and then Sarah being like, yeah, a year ago I didn't want Xander near me or my child. Now look at us, we're all and shit. Suzanne, Maggie telling her about how her and Victor got together after Mickey died. Mm-hmm. I just like that mentorship of Holly, kind of, and then Holly, you could tell she left there kind of with a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very nice scenes with the four of them.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of those. I feel like that because everyone gravitated toward Friday's episode was because we got those family episodes, not only the Marlena and John and that family, the Black family stuff, but yeah, that stuff with Holly and the three women was just, we haven't gotten, I don't think we've ever gotten a scene like that in a.
Well, it's been a long time, and it would serve the view. It would serve the show to kind of mix those in with everything else going on, and not like just have an episode dedicated to it. Like just sprinkle it in, like Holly, like just an example, like Holly could drop by to do something and have a heart-to-heart with Maggie, or what it reminded me of, and for whatever reason it reminded me of the conversations that Victor, oh my god, Sierra, not Victoria, Sierra. Sierra and Victor used to have.
Oh yeah.
For whatever reason, maybe it was because Maggie was in there and they were talking about Victor and blah blah blah. But it reminded me that Victor and Sierra had a few. They would sprinkle in scenes with the two of them like that. So yeah, just more of that with these characters, I think, would go a long way, just in the regular business of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Very sweet scene.
Yeah.
Someone's got to teach these youngins.
Mm-hmm. But it's not gonna. There's all that, and I'm like, that's not gonna stop them from acting a fool later, though.
Right.
No, but I hope it gives them the perspective of like, you're gonna have ups and downs. We're not telling you that that's not gonna happen, but this moment right now, what you're feeling, it's gonna be gone like that.
Mm-hmm. Can we also just go ahead and start preparing for Doug?
Yeah. He's got a cold. I was like, he's got a cold. Oh no.
I know, they were very hinting at it. Yeah.
The way that Julie, that very last scene where Julie was looking at the picture, and then she got the tray with the soup and started upstairs. I was like, oh god.
It was like, here we go.
Oh god. I remember getting emotional back when Doug was acting like he was a little bit senile.
Oh yeah, that.
And then we found out it was because he was possessed.
Oh man, that was a twist.
That scene is forever burned in my brain, where they're talking about Doug at the pub, and he's just over at the over at the bar, just eating his burger, happy, and they're like, we think he's, after he locked Julie in the freezer. Then we found out, no, it wasn't that he was, but I remember that was a little rough to watch. So.
Wait, after all of that, did we even talk about the fact that John sent the gifts for the anniversary to Marlena, and we now know that Andrew was sent to tell Marlena that he's off on another mission, which I'm just like, oh, this is the setup. This is how. This is a setup.
We got 2 setups going on right now.
We do.
My head is spitting.
And it's just.
We do, but I love that like they didn't just leave it at that. Like there was like a conversation with John.
I'm glad that that I was surprised about.
And what a beautiful shot of Marlena being on the phone with John and saying we did raise one hell of a family, and then the shot of like Johnny and Belle and Paul and Brady. And then, like, she just kind of winked that little wink at him, that little smile. I was like,
yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, and you could see the tears in her eyes. That wasn't just Marlena. That was Deidre. Like, damn, look what all these years have created on and off the screen.
Yeah.
Laying the groundwork. Yeah, the next few months, unfortunately, or fortunately, yes.
If they take this one episode, take the elements of this one episode, don't like compress it into one episode. Take elements and start sprinkling them into your ordinary everyday episodes, and then I think that'll be a nice, if it's just drama constantly. Yeah. Throw in some schmaltz, throw in some good schmaltz, and then it'll be kind of balanced on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I know we joked about it before, but it was nice to have those family scenes with the guys. Like, we don't get scenes like that. We never get scenes of Johnny and Brady together. And then, and then Paul's there, and everyone's, they're all part of the same family, but they're also related in so many different ways to each other that
they forget that Johnny is a part of that family half the time.
Yeah, sometimes they do. Yeah. Yeah,
I did, because when he walked up, I was like, "What's he doing?"
Like, what's he doing there?
Like, what? I'm like, this is weird. Like, are they?
Yeah.
Is Johnny about to pull out the little wazoo thing?
Under the boardwalk.
Which is funny because he's named after John, and of all, of all things.
All right. That's it with that storyline, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's head into some tidbits. But before we do, just a quick reminder, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, X, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. And if you are not a member of our YouTube channel, go ahead and join. For $4.99 a month. You will get some exclusive videos, some wonderful segments that include Those Were the Days Extended, brought to you by Justin Lee Hareld, and Tia Says, brought to you by Araceli Aviles, where she gives advice to some Salemites the Tia way. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. Also, make sure you show some love to JLJ. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, yeah. Find us on your favorite podcast station, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, show some love to JLJ Media on YouTube and wherever podcasts can be found. Now, let's go into some tidbits with Tate's Choice. Oh, Tate. Tate. Okay, so I'm going to say something. That is okay. Do you ever think, like, when they do those scenes, right, and they ask for protection, do you ever think they go, "We'll make it a gold one"?
Like a gold, like the what?
Oh my gosh.
There's regular. And then there's gold.
Oh, God. I don't.
Are you talking about the color of the rubber, or are you talking about a magnum
size? Yeah, that's what he's getting to.
Got it. That one ain't big enough.
Oh my gosh.
Because when she was like,
there.
she's like, do you have a condom? And he was like, and then he reached in the drawer. My first thought was like as an actor, do you ever kind of go,
give me a different one? I need it.
make me look good, boys?
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of a behind the scenes question. I'm not thinking about that, especially if they're playing high schoolers.
That is true.
Wait, what did?
That's a better question. Thank you, Annette Thompson. That is a better question. How old is that condom?
Maybe,
Guys, expiration dates matter.
Maybe they do they still teach sex ed in school?
Depends.
Oh God, who knows?
What state you're in, I guess.
So.
Who knows? It depends what state you're in.
Oh, that's true too.
Yes,
that's true.
And then what? Yeah. Oh my. That's a bigger question.
What I'm
with the internet. Oh.
What I'm happy about is that not the condom is defective. What I am happy about is that even in this day and age, she did, ask about protection, which I think is great. Do you guys think that Tate should have made love to Sophia?
I think he's a teenager, and by definition, they're stupid.
I'm telling y'all, that Horton cabin visit, that was the turning point.
I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, yes, they're young, but they're not, they're not 14 having sex.
Was it a little quick?
They're seniors in college. They're seniors in high school.
Yeah,
they like each other. Their hormones are raging.
It's very much in line.
They use protection.
Neither of them were in a relationship with someone else at the time.
Yeah. I mean,
this was before Holly came back and was like,
I messed up.
Like LOL, sorry, now I want to get back together. Like,
you know what's ironic? Is that they're having all of the right conversations about being responsible, about not cheating on anybody. So it's like ethically perfectly fine for them to do what they want to do as long as they're being safe. Because they're high schoolers and they're going to do what they're going to do no matter what. And truth be told, they're thinking yes to some of the comments. Yes, their thinking is probably better than some of the adults, but their emotional thinking is where they get tripped up, because it's like, are you ready emotionally for the consequences of what just happened? Turns out not so much.
They seem to be just fine. They were
fine for about 5 minutes.
But after this, I wanted Holly to be quiet so that Tate can tell her. Mm-hmm. She just kept, no, you don't have to think right now. So Holly, there's something I need. Well, you don't. You just take it. Shut up, Holly. Mm-hmm. Let him tell you what he done did.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he eventually did. Yeah.
Whose team are we on? Team Holly or Team Sophia?
Oh,
I can't pick a team right now.
No. Oh no, I know, because they don't
in terms of who Tate get or who gets
Tate. So Tate made a
Mm-hmm.
decision that he wasn't going to hurt Sophia and go back with Holly, even though Holly wants to be taken back. Mm-hmm. So now with where we are now, who are you guys for? Are you for Holly or are you for Sophia?
I give Sophia that slight edge. I'm actually liking Tate and Sophia together, and I'd like to see where that progressed. Not that I dislike him and Holly. But I actually like him with Sophia right now.
I would make the opposite argument for the reasons that you just said, because I feel like if Tate and Holly at this point are inevitable, if Tate was going to forgive her for nearly sending him to prison, then Sophia needs to cut her losses.
I think this is a this is good. This is called dating.
Yeah.
And I think that Tate should explore other options, because in this short amount of time, he has been through a lot with Holly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is now a great time to say, hey, you know what? Let me try something else. And if they end up back together after this,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I kind of feel like that was the subtext. And when they gave the like switch, they made it seem like, oh, especially with that talk with Brady, which I actually really loved, that like father-son talk with that they had. That was the first time I felt like that was a real conversation with them. I felt in the past they've been at odds with each other when it comes to Holly and drugs and that whole previous situation. So I liked that conversation they had as father and son. But I felt like there was some subtext there of like, I've been through a lot of shit with Holly. Like, Sophia's fun. We had sex. It was great. Like, I'm having fun with her. There isn't this ton of baggage that comes along. So let me actually pick Sophia. And I know he was saying he really does love Holly, but I felt like there was a part of him that's like, damn, like I've been through a lot of shit with this girl. Like Sophia over here is, and she's got, not that she's like a saint and easy and everything, but as far as relationship wise, like, it's a much easier path just to kind of hang out with her and see how it goes with her than to get.
But funny enough, I did like the advice that Brady and Ava were giving Sophia and Tate, because it felt very much like they weren't being lectury. They weren't telling them that they did anything wrong. They weren't, telling them what to do. They were just sitting there listening and saying, you know what? I have no idea how this is going to end up, but you both need to start protecting your hearts because you made a very adult decision. And okay, it's great that you were responsible physically, but there's another part to this.
I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do is share what I did outside of work with my boss.
It is kind of an odd relationship that they started with Ava and Sophia. I'm not mad about it, but I do have to, like, I can't forget that it's a boss subordinate relationship. And so I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, the realism of that is a little much.
Granted, I do think that you can have that kind of relationship with a boss, but
when you've known for years.
Right. And one that, like, it's like I don't feel like they are there yet for her to be like, yeah, I had sex with Tate last night. Ma'am, I don't think I need to know that. I just need to know if you can pick up one of these 2 shifts that got canceled. Like, that's what I need to know.
I do wonder though, they've been like slowly hinting about Sophia's family life. It seems like she is, I don't know if there's a dad around. I'm guessing there is because I feel like she said parents before, but at least like the past week, it's been my mom. And it's been, I have to help out with the younger brothers. I have to bring home food. I have to contribute to the household. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a change in her circumstances or something like that. I feel like, I don't know if there's like, and Ava takes her in or something.
I don't think this is a change in circumstance necessarily. I think this is just us getting to know what makes Sophia tick. What is this girl? Because we were just introduced to her as Holly's friend. We didn't know anything about her beyond that. So now this is us getting to know the kind of person that she is. What is she dealing with on a day-to-day basis that makes her the way she is?
Yeah. I think maybe we'll get some more insight on that. That girl can lie, though. She'd have been to 2 different houses and was only at one. So, Bimby.
Why is poor Bimby upset?
He's confused because up until a week ago, his dinner time is 5:00, right? We changed the time a week ago. And so every day at 4:00, this is what's been happening.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Bimby ain't got daylight savings time.
Yeah.
No,
those-
he
those-
said that's not a thing in my world. I want my GD dinner.
The puppies and the babies are confused. Ooh.
Bimby
I
said
put my
this is not in my
earpod in because I didn't think you would hear it. But
we can say Bimby is hungry. Bimby said, "Baby, it's 5:30."
Poor
I don't know what you're
baby.
It's
watching.
5:24 in my world.
Well, we're gonna keep on pushing through so that Bimby can get some food. But we're done. We're done with Tate's choice, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now we're moving on to a family that's been reunited.
Which is not that title.
Not that one. The Green family reunited, and it feels so good.
Did I miss one?
Yeah, there you
that one.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's the one. I mean, this is just really quick. That like I think we're getting more insight into the Green family, which I think my face kind of always goes like this when it comes to them. There's a lot of reconstructed faces in the Green family, but now at least Aaron knows like,
Yeah.
okay, here's what we know about the Green family. Shall we go through it?
Yep.
We know that the parents had allegedly died in a car accident that Kat was also involved in.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, the father is the only one that is actually. Did you hear about him? Dead.
As far as we know, yes.
As far as we know, Kat survived, but reconstructed her face. But now we don't know where she been. And then allegedly, Clyde says that the mom survived, and the mom is Katarina, who we all thought the pawn had shot many years ago. Aaron is now up to speed on all of this from the jail cell. And
Felicity
now-
is not.
Felicity is not. And then Clyde, what did Clyde call and proposition Chad to do?
We do not know yet.
But all he said was, if it's a yes, say go to hell.
Yes.
And he said, go to hell. And he said, perfect. And then Patch is looking at him like, what happened?
Yes.
And of course, Chad doesn't want to say anything.
But then we got the scene of him going to EJ saying, I want Kat out of jail. So I'm presuming that was part of the or whatever Clyde wants. Chad thinks Kat can either help him get it, if that's the case. Either Clyde wants Kat out of jail for some reason, or Chad wants Kat out of jail to assist him in getting Clyde what he wants, whatever. Yeah.
I know that we have a problem with Clyde being this powerful country bumpkin, but can we just go ahead and make Clyde the villain?
Yeah,
that is going to terrorize everybody.
He is. He's been torturing Chad for years.
But give him better plans and more people to start terrorizing.
No. Just get rid of him, please.
Look, at this point, he is Chad's personal villain. Like he and Chad now are locked in this like personal vendetta, and it's getting to the point where it's like Chad's going to have to be the one to take him out. That's where this is going.
But also in the midst of this, can somebody please tell Chad where Abigail is?
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, where is the body?
Maybe that was part of the deal. I'll tell you where Abigail is if you do this. And in order to do that, he has to get what's-her-face out of jail or the charges dropped.
Who
or like Justin said, Kat can help him. So maybe Chad came up. Maybe Chad agreed to it, but came up with an idea on his own while agreeing to it. And part of it is he, like Justin said, needs Kat for it.
Yeah. There's so many moving parts here.
There's so much unknown right now.
Yes, because and I think a big part of this puzzle that hinges on all of these moving parts is Katarina. Is she still alive? And if she is, what is her connection to Clyde? Because to many viewers, it felt like Clyde just kind of popped her out of thin air. So I feel like once we get that answer, all these other pieces are going to come into focus. Yeah, we can't solve the John of it. We can't touch on John. We can't touch on Constantine. We can't touch on Chad. We can't touch on Kat until we find this woman.
I wonder who's going to play her.
Oh, there we go. I went out for a second. Sorry, y'all.
Oh. But no, I will say the actor who plays Aaron did like such a great job with those scenes. Like they were.
Oh yeah, he held that.
Yeah, especially the ones with Anna Lynn.
Oh gosh, I love this family, and it's so. I mean, I don't think, or I hope they don't realize how. No,
we love the family.
I love the dynamic.
I think we're at a strong like.
Okay, all right. Okay, like, look, I don't hold the same reverence for this family like I do other Salemites, obviously, because they were only introduced 6 months ago. But in terms of what it takes to introduce a new character, we know what it takes to introduce a new character, let alone a whole family onto a canvas like this one. It takes a lot of work. And they were introduced individually without, in the beginning, without letting us into how they were all connected. And I very much enjoyed how this family has been interwoven into all of the other relationships on the canvas, how they've come together. And even though it's only like now that we're actually starting to see them work together and really actually see the dynamics of them as a family, I commend them because this is hard. That's hard to get an audience member to care about a brand new family on the canvas. That's not an easy thing.
Well, especially this one, because this one is a lot of construction. They shouldn't call the Green family. They should be called the construction family.
We're gonna have to deconstruct that voice, Tony.
You're cutting out. And I think you may be frozen.
Hell, I'm still wondering if Mark's gay. Like that's still.
Oh my gosh!
That's still like up in the air and like. So
probably you'll find out.
Yes.
Hey, we might get another threesome on the horizon.
Oh, a gay threesome.
I'll be down for that. That you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh my gosh.
What do you mean, Araceli?
I welcome. It means I welcome any and all consensual love scenes.
I love it. That's when you pop back in, Tony, at that moment.
I think my internet is wonky, so if I am going in and out, or if I sound weird or whatever, like it's internet problem. So it looks like it's picking back up speed. Yeah. Well, picking up speed, let's move on to our last tidbit, which is romance on set of Body and Soul.
As in, no, none.
I want to know what Johnny and Joy did.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, it's so like we don't know if they did everything. We don't know like what they see. Johnny seems pretty fucking guilty.
I know, right?
So, I mean,
and did you hear his wording from this day on?
No, I didn't hear the wording. What was the wording?
That one.
I heard.
Yeah, I need confirmation of what they did or didn't do or what happened. I mean, honestly, they could have just kissed too, and he's feeling guilty because of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could have been a kiss. It could have been a full-on bang. We don't know.
I just
could have passed out. She could have dragged his ass back there and done nothing.
I just hope that it's not a full-on bang, because like, I mean, that's such a quick reaction of like, oh, so you blue bunnying on set, then I'm gonna go find somebody in Blue Bunny too.
Oh dear.
And I feel bad that Stephanie and Alex are no longer. I'm like, it's like we're going through all that for y'all not to end up together because y'all got a little too hot and heavy on set.
Oh, you know
I don't
that
think it's
that's
gonna.
temporary.
I think they're gonna. Yeah, exactly. I think it's just temporary. I think they're gonna find their way back to each other somehow.
Forbidden
Or they'll
romance.
sneak around.
Forbidden romance.
Or sneak around. Like that's what you do. Like you.
That makes it more exciting.
Make it known. Yeah.
Mhm.
Can I give a shout out to Abigail Klein for giving main character energy when she walked into the bar and she walked in and she was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, you better be that mean girl energy. I live. Yeah.
So yeah. We're seeing Joy is now, I guess, gonna live over the pub.
I love Joy. I think that she's such a good character, but I feel like her character is being stunted by Nancy. Nancy's got to go home.
She is.
I think
she's gonna
is.
She needs to go home like now.
She's getting Joy settled in at the pub, and then she's gonna go back.
Yeah, like nothing against Patricia Darbo. I love her to pieces, but the way that she is right now, which like this is very much girl in her 20s. Mom got to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, Joy is ready for her to go home.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I mean, again, shout out to Marnie and Bob. The casting of Joy. I'm just like, gosh, this really looks like if Craig and Nancy had another daughter. Mm-hmm. She looks just like Chloe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so good. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
For those tidbits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just the other thing, them trying to turn Small Bar into a club. Like it was just like I was like, what are they doing? Oh, they're trying to like turn it. Yeah, it's called Small Bar, not Small Club.
Mm-hmm.
In the club, we all fam. Well, speaking of in the club, we all fam. Well, speaking of the club, we are going to close its doors on those episodes of Days of Our Lives and move on to our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap.
All right. There we go. Okay. Now, listen, I love a woman who can turn things around and give you the okie doke and pretend like she's all for what you're doing and then go, bam. Just kidding. Miss Lauren Koslow, who plays Kate Brady, gave Vivian the good old 90s psych. And for that, I had to give Lauren Koslow, Kate, Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap.
You better dupe the dupe Duchess, ma'am, Kate. All right. And now it's time for
Caption That.
All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Sarah randomly handing not Vivian, Maggie, a elephant as a my gosh, Bimby, as a anniversary gift. I gave you all like an easy one because I was like, okay, elephant, blood diamonds. There was only like 2 references to the blood diamond elephant in the caption that I was like, okay, everyone literally just forgot about it or blocked out of their memory. Anyway,
we would like to.
Anyways, this week's caption goes to Paul Hass, Paul0901 on Twitter /X with his caption, I hope I don't become like Duke.
And that was
Mention that.
And now it's time for
Those were the days.
All right, everyone, I'm taking you back to November 8th, 2011, where we had the wedding of Maggie Horton and Victor Kiriakis. That day, like, their relationship was not without its mishaps. If you remember, there was a big snowstorm in Salem. It kept a lot of family members out, but also kept the caterer out and the officiant. And Maggie and Victor were very puzzled as to whether or not they would get married that day, but they eventually did walk down the aisle. Maggie did, escorted by her son Daniel, to marry and start this interesting pairing that we would see that we would see for the next 10 to 11 years. And for an extended view of those are the days where I take a sort of trip down memory lane with Maggie and Victor's relationship, check out our members only page. So yeah, November 8th, 2011, when Victor and Maggie got married.
and
Those were the days.
and now it's time for
It's a gift.
And this week's It's a GIF goes to Mr. Leo Stark, thanking his lucky stars that he was sitting in that bar in front of that computer looking at future Mr. Right.
he had a main character moment too. The cameraman gave him a and I was like, yes, Leo, you better.
Yes. Like, hello.
That's
And
that's a full salute look right there.
They're very attractive men.
Mm-hmm.
And that was.
It's a gift.
And now it's time for
News and gossip.
We're starting off first with some sad, sort of slightly hopeful news here. We got a interview with Ken Corday, executive producer of Days of Our Lives, where he sort of let it be known that that Drake actually gave his blessing to his own death storyline. And a lot of this stems from the fact that we know Drake had been sick for a few months and he was actually offset for a while, approximately 9 to 10 months. And so they were figuring out a way to sort of deal with that. And they wrote in this John dies storyline. And Ken said that he actually took it to Drake and actually got his blessing on it. And the idea wasn't necessarily that we would be saying goodbye to John forever, or that we even knew, in fact, we would be eventually saying goodbye to Drake. But it was sort of I don't want to say contingency plan, but the idea was that if or when Drake got better, that he would actually come back to the show and that they would rewrite him coming back in. So this sort of was brought on as sort of like a little bit of a temporary fix that unfortunately we know Drake did pass. And so this is sort of what they were stuck with, but he did want to let us know that Drake did sign off on this storyline, which we are they're laying the foundation for right now. And then we also got a little, some tidbits from both Stephen Nichols and Deidre Hall on it. Mm-hmm. First, Stephen saying that he actually did not agree with the storyline and didn't want to do it. And it was actually Drake giving his blessing that actually made him sort of kind of come on board with it and do it. And then Deidre Hall also sort of gave her little insight into it, that they weren't thinking of saying goodbye to him at this point, that this was a temporary thing. The idea was that Drake was going to get better and then, he'd be off the show while he recovered. And then when he was ready to come back, we would sort of get a reveal to that. So yeah, some kind of hopeful news, I'd say, in the midst of all this, that at least Drake was made aware of what was going on with his character and that he had signed up for it. So yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of bittersweet moments remembering Drake these past few weeks, which we celebrated at Day of Days. We celebrated the renewal of not only the 60th year, but the 61st year, because right before Day of Days, which we were celebrating the 60th year, we got the news that the show has been renewed for its 61st season, guaranteeing that the show will air into 2026. So congratulations, for at least another 2 years to go.
Yeah, and also big congrats to Greg Rickhart. He completed in the New York City Marathon on November 3rd, which is one of the reasons why he wasn't at Day of Days this year. And we actually previously told you about this. He was raising money for St. Jude. He was doing it as a fundraiser, and he actually raised close to $9,000 and finished the race in 4 hours and 33 minutes. So big congrats to Greg Rickhart. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who donated.
That is no small feat, my friend.
The New York City Marathon is no joke.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, congratulations, Greg. That's amazing. Next up, if you were living under a rock, guess who's coming back to Salem? Everyone who was at Day of Days got a fun surprise to learn that Emily O'Brien will be back as both Teresa and Gwen in 2025. First, Teresa will be back reportedly in March of next year, with Gwen to show up full time during the middle of next spring. So she will be back sometime then. No news on what the storyline is or what. Fun fact, I actually ran into her right outside the doors when she was coming into the building. So I was like, oh, yay, my wishes are coming true. And next up, big congratulations to Days alum Mike Manning, who has been cast in the new soap opera Beyond the Gates. He will play the character of Bradley Smith, father to 2 teens and a house husband to a congressman. And Bradley will be eager to get back to his writing career as he's managing his day-to-day life. So big congratulations. Production on Beyond the Gates started this past week. So excited for everyone on that cast.
Yes, and while we were celebrating Day of Days last weekend and the renewal announcement, we also celebrated this week Days' 50th anniversary on set. As you can see here, I'm sure if you've been on social media, you'll see a lot of the cast have been snapping pics for it. They had their usual cake and celebration, but just to celebrate 59 years and mark the occasion on set. And Ken Corday, of course, was there with some of the cast. So go check out those photos. They're sort of circulating on everyone's social media and at Days Peacock. So go check those out. And then, of course, we had one of our favorites, Miss Louise Sorrell. She paid a visit to the Days social media room to talk about what goes into playing a villain. So go check that out at Days Peacock to see what this veteran can offer after it's been like 30 something years of playing Vivian Alameda at this point. So go check out what Louise has to say.
Mm-hmm. And the Day Players will have new shows coming up. They will have a couple of shows in Florida, in Naples and Tampa specifically in November, where they will be joined by fellow castmate Leo Howard. And then coming into 2025, they will have new shows in Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, Birmingham, Oklahoma City, and Addison, Texas. These are all dates through April of next year, through April of 2025. So if you're looking for tickets for a venue near you, go to thedayplayersband.com for tickets and information.
And last but not least, we wanted to just mark the occasion and do a little sort of recap, maybe from everyone's perspective, about Day of Days. I know it was different this year than previous years for all of us, especially the fans too who have come during previous years. But yeah, just kind of give a little bit of our experience. Tony, of course, you hosted the event. How was it for you this year?
Day of Days is always a very long day, but a fun day. So I had a lot of fun just interacting with fans and doing trivia. We played a new game, which was Guess the Price of an item from the Brady Pub menu. So it was fun, and it was fun hearing, people coming from far and wide. And it was also interesting to meet some of the fans of Dishin Days. And so it was a great experience. I think my favorite was there's a couple of favorite moments. One, I really enjoyed the tribute to Bill and Drake, led by Susan C. 4th Hayes, along with Amy Shaughnessy and Deidre Hall. My other favorite moment was the reveal of Gwen. And upon Emily taking off the wig, seeing Paul Telfer brushing her hair to make sure that her hair remained intact, and then passing the wig off to Leo Howard, who plays Tate, who then put it on. So yeah, he did. So those were some of the highlights for me, and I definitely enjoyed what we all did, bringing the fans who couldn't be there along for the ride as well. All that can be found on our YouTube channel. So
yeah, I had a really great time. For those that don't know, a lot of times the rest of us are usually in a press room and we're interviewing the press most of the day, so we don't get to come out to the event until the end of it. This year was a little bit different. We did our press run sort of early in the morning, and it was very quick and kind of crazy and hectic, but we got some really great interviews for you guys to check out that are posted on the channel. I think even though it was a quick, a sort of interesting change this year, I think we still got some really good content and got to spend some time with the cast, which was great. One of my favorite parts was this time, again, being able to be in the audience and to be of the event was really nice. Getting to meet a lot of the fans who come out and watch our show and recognized us. And there were points where me and Araceli were doing trivia, and then we'd walk into an area and people were yelling and recognizing us and telling us they loved the show. And then there were new people who didn't really know who we were, but they were inquisitive. And we told them we do a podcast. It was like, oh, there's a podcast on Days of Our Lives. And so sort of getting the word out, and we gave out a shit ton of bracelets. And
we still have a ton left.
Yes.
Hey, we tried.
The toys, the stress balls, and just overall, I think had a really good time. It was definitely such a far different experience than the previous Day of Days, but also rewarding in a lot of ways. So,
and let me tell you, I was running up and down the aisles. I was running up and back and forth backstage. It was a day of Araceli getting her steps in. So thank you so much to everyone who participated in our games. Thank you to everyone who was there to pay tribute to everyone who held tight, because it was a long day and it was an eventful day, and I'm so grateful that you guys all got to be together, and we will hopefully see you next year.
I think you guys summed it up nicely. Yeah, it was also nice meeting like Jen Furigal fans. She was lovely, and her friend. Just meeting y'all, and
Oh, well, also we forgot to mention, we had not only did we do Day of Days, we also ventured out to the other events that were happening that weekend that we have been talking about for months. So shout out to Lori Beth and the Ladies of Hollywood event, which was a beautiful just sit down, get to know each other type of event. We popped in at the beginning just to say hello to everyone, and it was great to see Nadia Bjorlin. She looks like she's doing amazing, has a wonderful family, currently shooting Venice, that is led by Crystal Chappelle, who we all know as Carly Manning. And that event was great. And then we got to go down. I mean, this was a field trip.
Yes, we were a field trip
all over LA. And then we went down to downtown and met up with Paul and Keith of Starstruck Fan Events, and got to see, Remington, who plays Lee Shin, Julie Dove, who plays Connie, Lucas Adams, who plays Trip, Casey Moss, who plays JJ Devereaux, True O'Brien, who you all remember as Paige, which, yes, we talked about the ugly shoes that they killed her in once again. And Jordi Villasuso was there as well, who played Dario. Vincent Irizarry was there as Deimos.
What are they working on right now? They're not working on Venice. They're working on
Sunset Boulevard or Sid.
Yeah.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of cast members from Days. Colton Little was there as well, and we got to meet his mom. It was also a weekend of meeting moms.
Yes.
Lots of moms everywhere.
Lots of moms. We met Colton Little's mom, Mama Little. So shout out to her. Amazing woman, so fun.
Yes.
She got along with my mom and my aunt, who were along for the ride with us. We also
that was
met
my second favorite part, getting to hang out with Mama Moore and your aunt.
Yes.
They're a fun couple of ladies. I definitely for some reason I just relate to the women of a certain age,
Southern women such as myself.
Yes, and they came to play all weekend. They were down for everything. They were up early and hanging in there for all of the festivities.
I feel like half of my weekend was spent just talking to Sherry's mom.
Yeah.
And then you guys.
Because we went to because Michael and I went to the Day Players Saturday night, which was packed, which is how we ended up at the bar. Like literally I was right next to Sherry's mom, and Sherry was right next to me most of the night.
How was the Day Players?
It was standing room only. Like we showed up. Okay, so show started at 8:00. We showed up at 7:40, and we could not get in because the place was full. So they eventually got us in, but we had to stand like in the back because there were literally no seats available.
Oh wow!
And it was wild. It was wild.
Oh my god! Brian DeTillo.
Nothing like Days fans who have been at a fan event all day and then at a bar drinking.
Yes, and then they were still.
But they were good moods.
No, it was great. It was a great mood, but it was also. But then it was like Brian DeTillo, smack dab in the center.
Oh yeah, he went trotting by and hi.
There's a video. Somebody find it. There's a video of him just.
I just saw that video. Is of him doing some sort of interpretive dance during Let It Go.
It was amazing.
I think the comment on that video was, "There's no bigger fan of the Day Players than Brian DeTillo."
I mean, overall, it was really a great Days weekend, and hopefully fans had a great time, whether you went to the Ladies of Hollywood or Yesterday's or Day of Days or the Day Players show. Hopefully you had a great weekend.
My comment to whoever runs Day of Days next year: take elements from both formats and mesh them together. There were some things that didn't work this year.
What we mean is this year and the year prior. That's what we mean.
Well,
and I didn't like having interviews rest for an hour. I'll just say that. So that's my preference, though.
For those who were disappointed that we didn't get a chance to, that Araceli and Justin didn't get a chance to talk to a few people. You guys can talk about
we talked to more people than we thought we were going to.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. The fact that we got the people that we did, I think we got lucky.
Yeah. And there were a few.
Missed a few. And luckily, honestly, it was people that we usually talk to. So I think we missed like Raven and Kristen, who we always talk to and have a relationship with. But I feel like we have them on the show all the time. We see them a good plenty. So
Sal Stowers was like at the very end of the press line, and she saw me and was like, I was like, nice. That was kind of sweet. We didn't get to talk to her.
So you guys know, events like these are always so hectic, no matter how well they're planned. And the good thing was, I do have to say, is that we were allotted a certain amount of time, it actually went over that. So not us specifically, but the whole red carpet was supposed to be a short amount of time. They opened it up a bit to give us a little bit more time with the talent. So our videos are decent size for what we went through, and in terms of like getting that many people in one time. I mean, originally when we got there, we were like, oh, we're gonna have these 2-minute videos, and is it gonna be enough to share with the audience? But luckily, we were able to get.
But you both did a good job of kind of compressing what you usually do into a shorter amount of time. So
we had to.
So we made it work and got some good stuff out of it, and we had some time with the fans, which was good. So
yeah, my wheels are turning right now. Maybe we'll just
devil and angel on your shoulder, Tony.
It is.
I'm gonna say that there's a right way to act when things aren't going your way, and there's not a right way to act when things aren't going your way.
Yeah.
And some people need to learn the right way.
Yeah. I had to stay off Twitter. I really did. I really had to stay off Twitter. I will say this. I do want fans to know that being someone who is like in the middle, right? Like I know the conversations and the emails and the meetings that were had, but I'm always a fan as well. I will say that, everyone really wanted to put on an amazing event for all the fans and really took note to how last year was, and the intent was to make it an even better experience. We all know that it didn't quite happen the way they planned. They are fully aware of that. They were aware of that day, which is why they kept trying to shift and maneuver and make it a great experience. But I do hope that fans, whatever your experience was, don't let that deter you from joining again next year. Because I was very excited about a lot of the changes that they made, especially being allowed to meet more than just maybe 4 or 5 cast members at a table. I mean, they had 8 or 9 at each table, which I thought was great, and the energy was great. The cast loves meeting the fans, and so they were excited, and yeah, I mean, things don't always go as planned, but you give grace and hope that next year is better. So
yeah, I think come in with a positive attitude to the free event that they're putting on, and everyone is donating their time to kind of meet fans and connect with them and just have a fun time in celebration of Days, and take that as your guiding force. Also will address the idea that I think was put out there. I don't know by whom. At this point, we're not going to investigate, but this idea that we were sneaking people on stage, and I the reason I'm bringing it up is just to sort of mock it because it's laughable. I think that people got
it's laughable that people think we had that kind of power.
Yeah, I guess there were rumors or things going around that we were sneaking people unfairly on stage, or we were somehow influencing the lines of honestly, we were having fun. We were going into the crowds and playing games. That's what we were doing. That's what's our.
I was checking on a card a lot.
Yeah. So just
Yeah.
to clear up that silliness, I'll say.
Silliness.
Yes, we were not sneaking. Trust me, if we were sneaking people backstage,
they would have gotten it. Like
backstage.
they would have gotten pictures and stuff with people. They wouldn't just be sneaking people in.
Trust me, we would
on.
have a lot more interesting, more content if we had the run of Day of Days, like some people think we did, or yeah.
So, like, I understand if you're upset about something, but don't start making up shit and bringing people into stuff that weren't involved in anything.
Yeah, it was, and I'm not one who shuts down like reading stuff on Twitter, but like Saturday night, Sunday morning, I was just like, you know what? I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Because you know what? Because Tony, you
All you were
did your
hearing was the
job.
bad stuff. Like
You did a great job.
well, thank
did
you.
your job. You did your job emceeing an entire event, which is no small feat. You know, we were up at the butt crack of dawn doing our
Oh
thing.
God, yeah.
We did our jobs.
Yeah.
We
And
we controlled what we had the power to control.
And I mean, if there was anything that I could do for anyone to make the experience better, like I wanted to do that. But you know, I could only do what I could, and I wanted to change the mood in the room. And to the person who feels like I berated the audience, or that I yell at y'all about going to events and stuff. It's not. I'm gonna apologize that you feel that way. Such a Capricorn way to apologize, but I apologize if you think that was my intent, but it wasn't. I just want everyone to just have a good time. That's it. And when I'm at the helm of it, and it's a struggle for me to not turn things around, it's a lot, because I've been around fan events for over 20 years now. I have seen how the fans are and see how things go, and so I want everyone to have a positive experience. So I apologize if you guys felt like, you know, berated or made fun of or whichever. I apologize for that, and I don't yell at you guys about going to these events. You know, we just want to let you know what the options are to go and meet cast members if they're in your area. And then if you decide that they're in a city 3 hours away and you would rather them come to your city, then that's
Totally not up to us.
Yeah. So,
and I'll say a couple of positive things just as we're sort of ending this. From what I've heard and talking with some cast members, they were completely removed from whatever was going on in the crowd or whatever issues people may have had, and they were fully focused on meeting their fans and enjoying the people who got to come through the line and get autographs signed and take pictures with them and give them a hug and have a brief interaction in a moment to talk about Days and their experience and what they liked and being able to bond over that. So I like that the cast was, for the most part, as far as I know, was removed from any craziness or any discomfort people were having waiting in line. And another thing I do want to say is that certain parts of the day were adjusted to make sure that people would have an opportunity to get up and get in line. I know there's a lot of talk about fairness and who got in line and who didn't, but also the event was ostensibly extended to make sure that people got on stage and were able to see people. And yeah, so the event was adjusted and went over what was allotted just to make sure that people's fan experience was honored and was taken serious. So yeah, I do want to say that for the event as a whole.
So I'm going to shout out everyone that was a part of the event, everyone, the crew who put it on, everyone at Peacock, the cast, talent, Peacock Theater, everyone, fans, great job.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next year.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Day of Days, we do not have our usual weekly promo, but we do have the full preview of what's to come in this 60th season of Days of Our Lives. And just before we start playing it, if for some reason I say this and then you don't see it, it's because they flagged us for copyright. So we had to take it out. But here you go.
Oh.
Someone told me there's a party.
Days of Our Lives is celebrating 60 seasons.
Long may she live.
And 15,000 episodes.
All you really need to know is that we tell love stories.
60 seasons of romance.
Now I get to figure out who I am without Sean.
You think I'm sweet, do you?
Do you want to spend the night?
Yes. I've been dying to kiss you again. You, Stephanie Johnson, are the only one for me. I love you.
You do?
I haven't felt like this in a really long time.
Guess what?
We're engaged. I still want to have a baby.
Let's have a baby.
Let's have a baby.
Okay.
60 seasons of family.
Doug.
No! He can't be gone.
Grandma, what can I do?
Oh, Jenny. I love you so much. Daddy, you'll always be in my heart.
Marie Horton as I live and breathe.
You opened it?
Let's just see what's in this thing.
60 seasons of drama.
Where's my wife?
She was lying about her identity.
If you had any self-respect, you would walk out that door and you would never come back.
Salem University Hospital is going to shut down.
Oh, Tom Horton would just be rolling over in his grave.
My father is missing.
I want to know where my husband is.
I'm looking for John.
I don't know what I will do if anything happens to him.
60 seasons of mystery.
Who are you?
There is someone here.
My wife's fall was an accident.
60 seasons of secrets.
Just don't tell, Xander. You want me to lie to my husband?
Finally revealed.
That guy's a rapist.
So is EJ Demir.
You deserve to know where you came from.
The only reason I exist is because my father raped my mother.
What are you doing?
Don't keep me in suspense.
60 unforgettable seasons of Days of Our Lives.
Brace yourself. It's about to get even better.
I can't believe old Brady is going to walk through that door.
Still get butterflies?
Every time.
Wow.
When I tell you, holy moly, there's so much in there. There's so much that we knew that was going to happen, obviously, with the passing of Doug. And then there were like, oh my God, I forgot that they were together because they're different people. Oh my God, they're actually going to touch on this storyline that I've been waiting for years. Oh my God, who is that? I know him from Disney Channel.
Who is that, by the way? What's his name?
I forget his name. He was in Girl Meets World. He's grown up.
Oh yeah, he was. He was
my God. Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I
There's
tell
a
you
lot.
that you guys make sure you resubscribe to your Peacock.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you don't want to miss what is coming up. The who shot EJ is like, first of all, I'm like, bless his heart, he getting shot again. But
Third time.
But it seems like it's gonna be a big mystery thing. Yeah. And like, oh my God. Yeah, it was watching it live with everyone, which I love to do at Day of Days. It was like, it was edge of your seat, grab the popcorn, like the tea is being spilt moment. So y'all make sure you stay tuned because we are going to be here to break it on down for you. Speaking of breaking it on down, that has been Dishin Days. Before we head out, Michael Mattis.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
Araceli or Justin.
You can find me on Instagram
Araceli.
at Justin Lee Hareld.
Araceli.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And you can find us, me, everywhere at Lounging with Tony. You can find us, Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, X, and Threads. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera Days of Our Lives. This has been Dishin Days. We will be back next Sunday to fill you up on what's happening this week on Peacock's Days of Our Lives. Until then, have a wonderful, wonderful week. And of course, happy 59th anniversary to our favorite soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And of course, don't forget.
Yes. Thanks, Mama Sandy.
Gabby One Kenobi, everybody. You're my only hope. That's right. All right. Bye, everybody. We will see you next week.
Don't worry, Bimby. It's chow time.